Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Go Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and here on the channel, I am hosting an ongoing healing process where I bring through messages here on YouTube and energy work and energy updates. Basically, the general messages the Spirit wants to share. And then for those of us who want to go deeper, I offer healing where I basically take these messages and continue with an intuitive healing over on my Patreon. I also have energy work, which is linked to each theme that we're moving through. And this week we're starting on a new theme. We are starting on soul awareness. So the energy work for that is already up. Soul messages for that is already up also here on the channel. So I'm going to do life messages today. I'm going to do love messages on Saturday. And then for each of those days, the healing will follow, right? On the same day as the messages, there's the healing. So you can watch this and you can have the healing straight away. It's already up. So let's look at the messages the Spirit has for us here and now today. We are talking about Totemic Puma, Power Awakening. Wow. And we're talking about soul awareness. So interesting. So interesting. Let's see how Spirit is going to bring this through. Okay, we've got Kanini. In each other, we find ourselves. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious me. Okay, we are going to move the light. We're going to start finding the light in different areas. And then we have Ingonyama, Honor of the Ancient King, also a card of power and more specifically of empowerment. So let's look and see how it is all coming together. Not yet. We'll get to you. But we're going to start with Totemic Puma Power Awakening. And I absolutely adore this card. Look at it. I adore this deck in general. It is the Earth Warriors deck by Alana Fairchild. And Totemic Puma is coming through with a message here when we're talking about soul awareness. We're talking about the ability to harness a great amount of power in our own everyday human lives through greater soul awareness. So the Totemic Puma, the way I'm reading this, is placing us straight into the nature of the deck, right? It's Earth Warriors. And the deck in general and its meaning talks about how to bring spiritual energy and healing and a lot of traditional wisdoms from around the world and those medicines linked to it, how to bring that into the earthly realm and to help us to heal ourselves, but also heal relationships and communities and heal humanity and heal the world. So again, Earth Warriors, how do we show up in these times to be all that we can be? And this is a message that the soul awareness that is awakening inside of you at this time is going to make you much more aware of how you can leverage any spiritual authority, any spiritual power, any spiritual growth, any spiritual energy that you have, which includes our affinities, our talents, our genius, our aspirations, inspirations, our divine attributes also, like unlimited abundance, those kinds of things, how you can take that energy and through the wisdom of soul awareness, leverage it in the earthly realm in the form of much greater empowerment. And with this king energy, a form of sovereignty over yourself and your life. But it's very important to understand that there is a context currently occurring which is calling this power forward. And if you read the text for this card, it talks very clearly about a dynamic going on where we are at a time where people are awakening into greater power in that sense. But there's one mention of a dynamic where you have, how would I put this? It would be like there's one generation, for example, like how one generation grows up and moves on, and then the next generation shows up to take up their space. And this is talking about a form of leadership shift within humanity where the people who have held power without having the soul awareness to match that power and therefore been able to temper it, to use it for the highest good of all, to use it in ways that are loving, that are good, that are wise, that there's a shift happening on an earth where those people are moving off and they're ceding those spaces of leadership to others and to those of us who have done our work and who have been on this path. Now, this could be on so many different levels. This could be in your family. Sadly, for some of you, it literally is someone who is passing on, an elder who's passing on, and then younger generations taking up leadership in the family, and then certain things are no longer allowed, they're no longer normalized, they're no longer tolerated, and the family, and therefore the descendants, the tribe, the legacy is taken in a different direction. So that's one example. Another is very simply people going on retirement, younger people, younger generations taking over those jobs, caring more about the environment and so on. I mean, I'm seeing, for example, just a lot of content, even movies that are getting made, bigger things where I can see, even anime, actually, I mostly watch anime, but I will see that the people who are making it are closer to my age. We grew up on the same stuff. We understand each other better in a way. I'm 40, so I'm a millennial, so that makes sense in that kind of linear sense. But it's on many different levels. You could be a teenager, but there's a shift in your family where all of a sudden you're the one who's being listened to because you have that soul level wisdom. These are the dynamics. Now, I could do a whole video on that because that sounds fascinating the way it shows up, but there is something to the fact that this shift doesn't always go easily. And actually, if we look back in history, it's a shift that has been trying to be making itself over and over and over again. And usually the powers that be, in that sense, right, the people who have the power, who have those positions of leadership, tend to fight back and to suppress. And one really good example would be the love generation, right, and that whole love revolution in the 60s. And not just the love revolution, but the Black Panther Party was around the same time. Different movements. There were liberation movements in Africa, where I'm from originally, and so there were lots of different things happening at the same time within that generation, who was the first generation after the Second World War. So clearly they would want a shift in leadership, right? So there are things that are happening that you can turn on the TV and you're going to see it. There are different kinds of candidates showing up for elections. There are different kinds of, again, bosses showing up at work, different dynamics, but it also can be in your own family, in your own life. It could even be within a couple, within the home, that where there was traditionally masculine leadership, or male leadership rather, male leadership. Now there's a more balanced leadership, or female leadership. There are a lot of more homes now where there is a female breadwinner. So those kinds of dynamics. And so, because this is going on, there's still a role for you to play in all of this, because this is contextual energy, right? It's the energy of the times, the sign of the times. But here at a higher level, we have got Ingonyama, which is talking about honor of the ancient king, and it is talking about the role that you have to play, which is a role of leadership based in sovereignty with the notion of kinghood. But there's also the notion that power is latent, and everybody on the planet is powerful, but not everybody is empowered. All souls are powerful, but not all souls are empowered. And this is a message very much about a path that is opening up for you, that is going to be a path of empowerment that is unfolding and is going to be unfolding for a long time. Now, all of this, when we're talking, I was giving very mundane, grounded examples, but the shift that we are witnessing, that we are experiencing, is a shift that is happening at a soul level, right? Soul awareness. So this is not a calling within the soul, but a path that is opening up, a path of leadership, a path of sovereignty that is opening up and calling on us, on you, to lead your life in a different way, right? To some degree, in some aspects, there is a difference that you're being called into, but that difference can only be accessed through empowerment. And wherever you are, you need to become more empowered. That's the message from Spirit. This path is going to make you more empowered, and especially at the level of the soul, which means within the things that are true to you, within the things that you love, that you value, but also your path, your journey in this life, your destiny in this life, who you're destined to be at a soul level. All of those elements are going to become a lot more prevalent at this time. And for many of you, it also coincides with this experience of moving into a new cycle, that this is the next cycle of your life, essentially, this energy in a nutshell of you stepping into this leadership power. Now, leadership, again, can be at so many different levels. This is leadership in your own life. You know, the expression, I lead my life. Yes, we need to lead our lives. So there's that aspect. There's leadership of the self, then there's leadership also in relationships. There's leadership in families, in communities, in organizations, in society, in so many levels and in so many different ways. And it's not necessarily one or the other, right? Very often when we are leaders of ourselves, when we're leading the selves, then we also become leaders in relationships and in society in general, because there is a lack of leadership at this level, right? So the person who can do it at a soul level will take it on, because again, there's a lack of empowered souls on the planet. So let's keep going. I have here my Rider-Waite that I was so happy to draw. I feel like I haven't seen it in ages. I haven't drawn it here in ages. So we're going to draw some Rider-Waite, because Spirit wants to talk about the path that is opening up here. And again, it's a kingly path. It's a path of ascension. I just saw 10 of Pentacles. It's a path of wealth in that sense, yes, and a wealthy earthly experience, very prosperous earthly experience. But it's also a path that is rare at this time. And again, very much based in leadership. But it's a different kind of leadership at the same time. So let's see what we have. We've got the Hermit. We've got the Chariot upside down. Fascinating. We have got the Three of Swords upside down. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. And we've got the Six of Cups. And you guys, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. The cards are so good. I would have started over if they weren't so good. I feel like I'm having so much trouble finding my words, stringing my words together. I feel like I'm failing in that sense. I feel like I'm out of my depth. There it is. I feel like I'm out of my depth. And I feel like this is not working. This is not it. I feel like it should be something different. And obviously this is this energy. It's a very new energy, but it's also a very challenging energy to be in, because our ideas of leadership are so different from what Spirit is calling us into. So we can't even go into Spirit answering it and saying this is the kind of leadership that we're being called into, because we first have to deconstruct things in order to get there. So I'm just going to read these cards as the message is coming through, and then we will get to that leadership explanation. Boy, am I interested to see what the healing is going to be about. First and foremost, the Hermit. The Hermit is talking about how this is something that you know. This is something that you know at a soul level, and also this is something that you are. So this kind of power, and especially the ability to empower that your soul, your true being, right? So what you love, what you value, what your path is in life, how you choose to journey along that path, the wisdom that you utilize, and all of those aspects, they are inherent to you. The Hermit talks about who we are. It's about contemplating what is. I am. It's not about creating anything. The Hermit is not about civilization, right? Knowledge, learning in the strict sense. It's not about instruction. It's much more about realizing that we already know. And so when the Hermit is showing up upside down here and holding that lamp, you see that lamp with the star representing the destiny, you have an innate knowledge here. And so it's quite difficult to kind of tell you something that you already know. Because if you don't know that you know, there's a reason. But Spirit does want you to know that there is the knowing inside of you of how to do this. Because very often with this Three of Swords here, we're just skipping around. Let's just go. Let's go. This Three of Swords is talking about past pain, suffering, actually. Suffering, we feel pain, but suffering happens when we are not able to integrate that pain, to understand it, make sense of it, heal it, integrate it, move on, right? And so it becomes suffering, it becomes something that lingers. And this is talking about experiences in your past that we all have, I don't want to say all, I do not want to affirm that, but that most people by far have, where we've been empowered, we have expressed and embodied leadership, but Spirit is saying even specifically this kind of leadership, and then we've been hurt as a result. Something happened, we were judged, we were criticized, we were ostracized, we were isolated, we were maybe even sometimes attacked, but that there are wounds linked to it that haven't fully healed. But the Three of Swords upside down is talking about a knowledge coming in and to create that it's not the the power isn't what got us hurt, it's the reaction that other people had to us showing up with power. That is not the same thing. Power in and of itself and being empowered, living out power is not dangerous. The reaction that some people have to that can be dangerous, can have them cause us harm, but it doesn't mean that power and empowerment in and of itself is dangerous. And furthermore, Spirit wants you to know the Chariot, boom, talking about path, soul path, and soul journey in this life. My dear, you have somewhere to go. You have someone to be. You have a destiny to live out in this world. And for the Chariot, for me, really talks about these things that at a soul level we have decided that we are going to experience. So it doesn't matter what we do. We can run away. We can try to avoid it. We can choose something else. We will always end up at those things because they're destined. And so when it's upside down, there's a message for you that there are things in this life that you're destined to experience, you're destined to be, you're destined to create. There are people that you're destined to align with, to cooperate with, participate in certain things. And that's at a soul level. And so there's soul contract energy linked to this. But it requires you stepping into power. It requires you to be that more empowered that we were talking about. And so there is a calling for this greater level of empowerment, and it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's basically Spirit saying you knowing more of who you are at a soul level is you empowering yourself to really step up and take hold of this next season of life that is here for you. Now, this Queen of Pentacles is talking about how this is going to be really good for you and your life. Queen of Pentacles showing up with this energy of priorities and this energy of quality. It's like quality of life. This is really going to increase your quality of life because there's a... You see how she's holding that pentacles? There's something of value for you to experience and to realize. But moreover, because it's the queen energy, it's for you to embody something. There's a way for you to be and a way of life for you to lead. This is also my lifestyle card that is going to be dependent on you stepping up in this power. Now, for some of you, this literally means you might have more means to have a much more easy, cushy, comfortable, even luxurious lifestyle because it's part of your destiny to live that out, right? But either way, the message is that this greater level of empowerment is going to help you to create the kind of lifestyle that you need to fully thrive as a soul in this world, even as a human in this world in general. It's like there's going to be gnawing, there's going to be suffering, there's going to be a sense of being deprived at a deep level if you do not step into this higher level of power. And yeah, the Six of Cups upside down, the path of least resistance, but then blocked, right? Everything gets harder and it could be child's play. That's what you get when you step into the same empowerment. And that's also what Spirit is saying. It's like sometimes we look at, again, leadership positions and powerful energy and an empowered position and way of being in life, and it just looks like a hassle. It just looks like something that's a drag because, again, you have people's reactions, you have attacks, you have all those things that you have experienced in the past and that you remember consciously or subconsciously that affect and influence your attitudes towards power, towards empowerment, and towards who you would be and what you would do if you were more empowered in life. But in fact, being less empowered is making your life more difficult because you're just less yourself. You're less likely to do what's natural for you, what would create that easy and harmonious flow in life, right? It's child's play. If you're more empowered, for you, it's child play to do A, B, C, or D, to go here, do that, to embody what you're here to embody, and again, what you're destined to embody, right? It's child play for this greater version of yourself, this more soul aware version of yourself. So let's go into more of the soul awareness, the spiritual, judgment. It is time. It is time. And boy, is it time. We have Ace of Swords upside down. I like it. You're close. You're really close. There's an epiphany coming. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. There's an epiphany coming. And I can see this reading, and part of why I'm having trouble with the words is that this energy is very much about affecting you at an intuitional level. All my readings are, but this reading especially is really creating a kind of intuitional space for you to engage in, and you're going to hear certain words in one way or another. It's going to hit you in a very specific way, and then I'm seeing it like it just gets the wheels rolling one after another, after another, after another, and there's epiphanies and there's clarity that is going to come from it. And again, it's something you engender yourself. So really a great time to also have some space and time to yourself. We have Ten of Cups. Nice. Again, this notion, it's going to make you so happy. It's going to lead to a higher level of happiness in this life, in this world, than you could ever have imagined, and that you can't imagine because it's blocked by past experiences of power and linked to empowerment. We have Page of Wands, Mission Drift. Mission Drift. This is so interesting. And we have Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. I did not expect this message at all. At all. So I do feel like there's also this aspect of it becoming unexpected in your own life and in your own experiences. And I've actually already filmed the soul messages videos for the soul awareness theme. And just when I started, I was like, I have completely forgotten what it's about. And that's, par for the course in the work that I do. It is intuitive after all. But it's very interesting that it's just so... It's like this central notion, right? You're just remembering who you are. You're remembering something that you've always known. I always do these readings. I go back and see that they match, and it amazes me. But I don't know that I'm creating something matching as I'm doing it. I'm just working the energy. And there's a similar message here that talks about how you don't step into your destiny because you know it's your destiny. You remember yourself, you develop your soul awareness, you start to live life in accordance with that, and then you live out your destiny, right? It's that thing again. You're not nice because you want to be nice. You're nice because you have a certain worldview, a certain view of yourself, a certain understanding of relationships, then you act nice. And then there's the reward for that. But if you just did it to be nice, it wouldn't be nice, right? It's like that. It's that kind of energy that is coming through. And that's the empowerment aspect. And I'm going to take a little detour. I just saw this today, actually, where I had commented on a video. There was a video that I watched where someone was basically saying that they didn't believe that relationships were anything other than transactional, and that person actually was a sociopath, a self-recognized sociopath. And then the comment section just kind of went off the way it will, and people just went like, no, we always want something when we're nice to someone else. It's not possible to be nice without wanting something. And I just thought, well, it's literally called intrinsic, right? Intrinsic motivation. And there are things like a character, the kind of person that you want to be. You're nice because you want to be a nice person, or you're kind because you want to be kind, not necessarily because you want to get something out of other people and you couldn't care less, right? It's like that. There's a way to be that. They just can't imagine it. But then we're talking about a world where people who just can't imagine that would be the people who have power. And that's the shift that we are enacting at this time, more and more, and on so many different levels. Yeah, the gig is up with judgment here. It's time. It's time for a shift. It's time for, just at a basic level, the millions of people around the world who saw what's going on in Gaza and stood up and said no. And, I remember going to a demonstration for Gaza in 2014. So that was 10 years ago. And that was already kind of spoken of, but it wasn't that central. Then I would remember a conversation I had with a Zionist friend in 2004, rather, someone I grew up with who was a Zionist, 2004. And they just, how do I put it? It didn't even exist. What I was talking about didn't even exist on their radar. And today we are watching people talk about colonialism, talk about Israel as a colonial state, and recognizing that that's a central issue. A point I made in 2004, people looked at me like I was an alien. But today it's becoming the norm. There is something new that's arising, and it's not just there. I was looking at Rathbone. He has a YouTube channel, but I think he is also on other platforms. But he's a creator. But he had a video where he was talking about climate change and articulating that we need to become radical in responding to climate change and doing something about it. And again, today it sounds normal. 5 years ago, you're a nutbag, you're a nutcase. There are so many different issues where people around the world are going, no, no more. And not just a small number, this is millions of people. Veganism, for example, is the fastest growing movement in the world, one of the fastest growing movements in the world. And that's also something that, again, 20 years ago, you were a freak. But now, mainstream brands are creating vegan products and stuff like that. There are issues with all of it, of course. What Spirit is saying is that there is something in the times. It's the spirit of the times that is calling us into a higher state of being. And this, Ace of Swords, this because you're being called. So you're being called also into your purpose and your truth. And again, with the crown, your sovereignty. Who are you? Who are you to be in this world, right? And also put the other way, who are you in this world to be? Who are you here to be? What is this life for? How are you going to live it? What are you going to become? What are you going to do? What are you going to create? And again, your soul knows. And your soul is the one that has the crown, that has that sovereign power. And you may be sitting there and going, well, I don't know. Well, a part of you knows. And with this Ace of Swords, it's really, really close to the surface. You are going to know soon. And it's going to blow your mind. It's really going to be so incredibly happy. And blow your mind. Nothing to think about, only to feel, only to receive, only to be grateful, only to feel blessed, only to luxuriate in the goodness of all of this. All of this. It's going to be better than anything you could ever have imagined. And again, you may know, because it's upside down, you're just not clear on that. You might be looking at your purpose, for example, and being like, yeah, it would be great, it'll be great, but you don't see it as great as it is. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're envisioning, it's going to be greater, it's going to be better. What you need to be aware of right now, Page of Wands, there's some mission drift here. And Page of Wands is a very interesting energy. Love this energy. It's individualism energy. I do me, I do my thing, which is awesome, which is great in general, right? But it's also a slightly immature energy. And Page of Wands is talking about, at a soul level, there is a lessening of this kind of energy. One of the things that I've noticed in healing is that there's a part of us that's very, very self-interested. Not self-interested, I don't mean it that way. It's always thinking about itself. It's always thinking about, what about me, right? What about me? What about me? What about me? Which I just did a video talking about how self-interest, that's great. But this card is talking about, yes, it's great. It's a wonderful thing you need to have. But it can also go overboard where, for example, out of self-interest, out of self-centeredness, in the sense like centering in the self, We can go, what about me? Seek our individualism to such a degree that we don't show up in the times. Because it's going to be too hard. It's going to be a hassle. It's going to be a struggle. What about my free time? What about my other dreams, my other goals? What about my other possibilities, right? If I go left, I can't go right. But the Ten of Cups has it all. There's everything here. And there's a message here about a lack of sacrifice. That maybe in the past you've had to sacrifice to be empowered, or to step into your purpose, or to pursue your gifts or talents and all those things, and to be judged and meet all of those reactions. Maybe that happened in the past, but in the future, there is everything. There is the total fulfillment. Even if literally you have, let's say, for example, you have a something that is mutually exclusive, right? Being single and being married. So you're like, my destiny is to marry this person, my destiny is to stay single, and then you feel like the two can't be merged. Well, there's a way. And you don't understand how that could be, but there would be a way, right? You might have, that one partner where you say this to them and they're like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Let's make it happen. And that's your leadership. That's your way for the two of you to step into this world and create something new. It could be like that. It really was the only example I could think about of things that are mutually exclusive, because in truth, there aren't that many. There really aren't. So my love, Ace of Cups. Spirit wants to give you something, and a tremendous amount of healing energy is going to be incoming in your life in these times. Now, obviously, there's a healing after that. You can partake in that. There's energy work, perfect timing, perfect alignment. Yay. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one, because again, I'm in my purpose doing my thing, right? So I can serve this energy as it is unfolding, but there are going to be tons of other things. And just today I was thinking I should tell them about Blended Insight more. And Blended Insight is a channel here on YouTube that does amazing Reiki work that I truly love and use almost every time she posts a video. I use it. Today's, or the one in these days when I'm recording, is shift from hopelessness to hopefulness. Fantastic. I've just put it on repeat. It's been fantastic. So there are resources like that, but this is definitely a time to be healing, so you can align with this energy more than anything. Because what I'm getting is like, there's an easy way and there's a hard way, because this is destined energy. It's going to happen anyway, right? You can't block it, you can't stop it, it's going to happen. So it's more to your advantage to make sure that it happens the easy way. Actually. What a way to put it, Spirit. But it's fact, yeah. There's an easy way, there's a hard way. Right? You want destiny where you yourself move into co-creating it. You do not want fate where it's just fated and you feel like it's something that's happening to you. But either way, it will happen. It is the energy of the times. Yeah, we have manifest. Okay. And we have God gifted. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. My love, if you read Manifest, this is a card that talks about, of course, coming into a time where there's tons of manifestation. And again, there's the message here. The energy, the alignment is waiting for you to become more empowered, to really let loose. And there's a rain of manifestation and abundance and blessings ready to be showing up in your life and through this process, right? The more empowered you get, the more you're going to be co-creating wonderful things with Spirit. Again, this rainbow, the wholeness, all of it will be there. Now, another level of this card talks about how in the text she says that about 95% of manifestation happens through our higher self. So through, for example, the soul, and 5% is through the human being and what we can control with our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and how we situate in outcomes, right? So again, your soul knows how to manifest this. And through your soul, you can set those higher visions. You can set your intentions. You can work intentional energy so that you can create and manifest amazing things through the writing on the power of intention, as opposed to, for example, moving through effort, through struggle even, but even just effort through activity and practice and those things that have value. But through intention, you just like super high conductive highway, you're just cruising towards those manifestations. And finally, we have gifted. You have got this. Whatever you need, You have the gifts, the skills, the talents, the abilities to pull this off. And Spirit is actually saying you have a gift for leadership. You have a gift for empowerment. You have a talent, something that is etched into your soul. And we even have here master number 22 at a soul level. I can't believe I'm noticing this at the end, but here we are. Right? We notice at the end. We notice what once it happens. But you have a soul level gift for manifestation. You are gifted. You're a master manifester at the level of the soul. And you can manifest this. You can make this happen. You can make it come into being. This can be the reality that you live. Just love how it looks. And moreover, this is the reality that you're destined to experience. You have it. You have it. It's a gift you have. It's a skill you have. And it's about, again, reawakening it, remembering it, and living it out. So my love, that was the reading. I am going to leave it at that. And then I'm going to continue on with the healing over in my Patreon. So if you want to join us for that, you're more than welcome to. Of course, link is in the description box. Otherwise, I will see you here on Saturday for the love readings. Sending you lots of love, wishing you all the best, and I will be seeing you around. Bye!